Preserving endangered species is no easy task, and sometimes it takes a bit of creativity to get the job done. Come take a closer look at wildlife and their most dedicated guardians with these 5 stories.
This fuzzy little creature is a quokka, and these guys live here, off the west coast of Australia, on Rottnest Island. Quokkas are not only cute, they are camera ready, and they're taking the internet by storm. So let's start at the beginning. What is a quokka?
A quokka is a small wallaby. It comes from the same family as a kangaroo, and physically they've got thick brown fur, they've got long tails, and they hop around. Quokkas thrive on Rottnest Island because they don't have any predators over here, so there's no foxes. We have the largest viable population of about 10,000.
Oh, sorry, and you are?
My name's Cassiana Gray and I'm a conservation officer on Rottnest Island. In my role, I'm responsible for managing conservation programs.
And there's one online trend that has really helped these animals. A quokka selfie. But make sure you're getting it right. How to take a quokka selfie. Step 1, a camera. Step 2, a quokka.
But don't touch the quokkas.
No.
Or feed them, it's a $150 fine.
These guys don't need the food. They naturally graze their way through the island's vegetation.
And they also really love the seedlings that we plant as part of our revegetation projects that we have implemented by our environment technicians.
Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for all your hard work. And what makes these guys so great for taking selfies?
Around the settlement area, the quokkas are a lot friendlier. They've become used to people, so their natural behaviours change. But out in the reserve, where they're actually still exhibiting their natural behaviour, they will be a lot more wary of people.
We have to know, are they actually smiling in photos?
Yeah, they're not actually smiling in the photos, it's just the natural shape of their mouth, which comes up at the side, which makes them look like they're smiling. The popularity of the quokka selfie has given us the opportunity to be able to raise awareness about the quokkas, particularly on the mainland, that are under threat. So we use that as a platform to educate the public and also educate them about appropriate interaction with wildlife.
So finally, a good cause for selfies. This is Aya and Shagu, 2 adorable clouded leopard cubs. Don't be fooled by their youthful spirit. Clouded leopards are some of the most shy, mysterious, and elusive cats. Besides their shy nature, they have a steadily declining population, making it even harder to spot them in the wild. As far as big cats go, clouded leopards are the smallest. These 2 little girls will top out at around 3 feet when fully grown. Native throughout Asia, they live in diverse habitats, from the rainforests of Indonesia to the foothills of the Himalayas. They pack a powerful bite too, as they have the largest canine teeth relative to body size of any wild cat. They have short, powerful legs and ankles that can rotate backwards, making them elite climbers. Beyond a quickly shrinking habitat, poaching remains a huge problem, as their skin, claws, teeth, bones, and meat are all sold on the black market. This is the clouded leopard.
We look at every subject that we want to film, and then we say, well, what is the best way to get into their world? It's an amazing moment when you realise that you're actually seeing some stuff for the first time. My name's John Downer, and these are my incredible team of spy creatures. Well, I suppose it all started when I started making wildlife films, and I wanted to have that kind of intimate perspective to get into the animal world and actually know what it's like to be an animal. Over the years, used technology to get more and more inside the animal world. And as things have progressed, we were moved from just using remote cameras disguised as rocks to where we are today, which is having, these incredible spy creatures which are able to do filming, cameras in their eyes, but they look like the animals, and the animals will interact with them. The whole idea of using the robots came about when we made a film about penguins. For the first time we thought, well, what if we made a penguin cam? A living, moving camera that looked like a penguin that was able to go into the colony and start picking up these incredible shots. You can't explain it because it's a dream come true. I think part of the whole technique is to try and get inside the animals' minds. You know, understanding animal behaviour is key to it all, really. We lost one spy pup to a wolf. Spy tortoise was squashed by an elephant. And I think it's something about the fact that they look living makes them think before they actually do anything. And if it's not a threat, then they quite like it. The challenges they're innumerable, because everything is a challenge from the beginning to the point you get the film. The animals, once you get there and once you've actually with them, they tend to be the least of all the problems. They usually do deliver because they do amazing things. And if you've got the technology to be able to film close to them and in their world, you know you're going to get something remarkable.
Early morning in Kenya, in the wildlife conservation areas, they are quiet. This all changes when the phone rings. Tafika sahi, the team can be contacted at all times. We are the first mobile security patrol veterinary team in this part of Kenya. Typically, an animal is trapped in a poultry snare, but it can be anything. A lion which needs to be translocated, or a sick zebra, but usually it's a snare issue. Our kits include gloves, first aid kit, medical supplies, blindfold, rope, and guarding rifle. The team consists of a driver, one head vet, and 2 rangers. Once we have assembled everything, we are ready to go and save the animals. The roads are not usually paved. Most of the time we drive through the bush. We are going to see where is he? When we reach the animal, we have to keep the animal safe and ourselves safe. It has become debilitated because of the snare, it's not eating. We only have a few minutes once the animal has been tranquilized. And it can be very dramatic. Yeah. Complete. Back in the compound, we are a bigger team. Joseph, our animal keeper, takes care of the orphans. Our lab technician takes care of the blood work. Our co-owner manages our online presence. This job is important because there's a lot of conflict between human beings and wildlife, and therefore intervention to save wildlife from becoming extinct is very crucial. I love so much to save lives and see animals are well, and that is our calling. That's why I do the job.
Alright guys, so we just finished up the bear den. This little guy hasn't been named yet.
Growing up in Montana, I feel like I had kind of a special opportunity just to be outside a lot. That's kind of where a love of wildlife started for me. That dies out in a lot of kids, and for me it just continued. My name's Wesley Larson. I'm a master's student working in wildlife conservation, and in some circles I'm known as Griz Kid. When I first started deciding that I should get into the wildlife field, I found Dr. Tom Smith at BYU. I started by working with polar bears on Alaska's North Slope, and then that kind of transitioned into some black bear work down here in Utah in Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon, like other national parks that do have bears, they've had a kind of a history with with visitor conflict and with bears that maybe are getting into campsites. So what we're doing is we're tracking the bears to learn what habitats they're using, just to see what the park could do better to make it easier for visitors to avoid bears. What we're doing is we're fitting black bears with GPS collars, and then I'll go into the den with the bear to inject it with some drugs. The bear then falls asleep. I can pull it out and, just give it a full checkup. It's probably the most scary thing we do, just because bears wake up. Sometimes they're really unhappy to see us.
Stay! Get the backpack. Hey! Stay! More backpack. Get him.
I have had to crawl up trees after bears. It's an interesting job for sure. People do have this knee-jerk reaction to see an animal that's sedated or an animal that's wearing a collar and think that, it might be being hurt. And the thing that they don't realize is that we really care about these animals probably more than just about anyone. Getting out into the wilderness and having these kind of experiences helps you understand that we depend on wildlife and wildlife depends on us. And that's really what conservation is all about, giving the space and the respect to these animals that they deserve and really learning as much about them as we can.